Hello and welcome back to Let's All Laugh At, the football podcast that thrives at someone else's expense. I'm George and I'm joined by the full panel, Dan, Andrew and Johnny this week. So good to have you guys here.
How are you doing, mate? All right?
Hi.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I was waiting for someone else.
That bit of silence. To answer your question, Johnny, yeah, I'm good. I'm all right.
Good.
Certainly better tonight after than I was on Sunday night, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, so starting off, it does feel a little bit like Groundhog's Day here, which isn't actually that far away. I forget which day of February it is, but it's like quite early on, so we're not that far away from actual Groundhog's Day. But Arsenal v Newcastle for the second time in a week, in the league this time, in the FA Cup, and a pretty similar game overall, ending with an Arsenal win. I thought they were certainly better than the FA Cup, but again, Newcastle were about the same as usual. So, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, first half, it was a pretty poor first half, to be fair. We had a couple of chances. Aubameyang managed to miss an open goal somehow. But in the end, yeah, we had too much for Newcastle. I mean, they're in a bit of trouble, Newcastle, I think. It was a big win for Arsenal, up to 10th in the table now. We're flying high, dizzy heights of 10th. But yeah, no, it was a routine victory, really, in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt we were atrocious, but to be expected with the way it was just atrocious, to be honest. I can't even, he made 8 changes. I mean, I don't want to go too hard on them, but Jamal Lewis, I feel like we've signed him because Liverpool were linked with him, and he's shit. He's £15 million. You used to get Alan Shearer for £15 million. Now you get fucking Jamal Lewis. Just ridiculous. Honestly, which Norwich team did they watch last year scouting these players? Because this Norwich team was one of the worst defences. Why are we signing Norwich defenders? Max Aarons is the only good player Norwich had, and Cantwell. He is atrocious. Emil Kraft we signed for £6 million, and Sweden used to be good about 10 years ago. I cannot believe he's a Swedish international. He is shocking. Do you see
they got to the quarterfinals against us in 2018, to be fair.
Yeah, but they were terrible. I mean, we weren't even that good, were they? I mean, that was a weird World Cup, let's be honest, looking back on it now. But anyway, he's not a very good footballer. The way he's running back walking back for the second goal. Steve Bruce said the gloves were off. What he's been doing for the whole season with these gloves on, I do not know.
Hands are probably frozen in this temperature.
It's a weird one. It's a weird one because from the other day, it was on about £20 million for Buendia, or £40 million we were linked with him, and £50 million for a player. Now, you get a bang average player 15 million. How times have changed where that used to be quite a good deal, 15 million, but now you can buy anyone for 15 million.
It's football has just gone crazy. I mean, I said this, Josh King, who is an average Premier League player, is asking for 120 grand a week.
Yeah.
I just do not understand 120 grand a week for Josh King. Just incredible. It's but generally, I mean, he played 4-4-2, and he thinks, let's just be attacking, or let's be open. You can play an attacking formation, but still not keep the ball and still be defensive as hell. I think Callum Wilson's getting pissed off because he hardly touches the ball now. It's really hard to watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
We are the worst team in the Premier League at the moment, by far.
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult. I didn't actually watch all the game. I don't have Sky, but I watched the highlights, and Almiron had that one chance, didn't he, in the first half? But apart from that, it wasn't much for Newcastle at all. And in the group chat, I don't think Newcastle will go down. But at the moment, with the performances, with Brighton winning games and West Brom getting results as well now, Newcastle definitely looking at teams underneath them rather than looking up.
I'd like to interject. Brighton winning games, they won one game 1-0 against the lead side on the down. So let's not get too carried away as far as they're concerned.
I knew you'd say something about that.
It's obligatory at this point. But I will bring you in on this, Dan, because Steve Bruce's name must have been mentioned about 100 times in the past couple of weeks with Newcastle. It's not hard to see why. There's a lot of doubts over whether or not he actually will go, because it's very clear that the fans have had enough, and I don't blame them. A bit of a similar situation to us with Roy Hodgson, but not even with at least Roy Hodgson kept us up, that one season. Steve Bruce hasn't even done that. So, and he spent a lot more money as well. So, I think particularly as well, when you compare them to at the risk of rubbing salt in the wound a bit more, when you compare it to Rafa Benitez, who they got rid of him for,
We didn't get rid of him.
Rid of for him, excuse me, or he left, or he was Bruce's predecessor. Let's put it that way. People talk about Bruce being a really defensive, organised manager, but in my opinion, like, they're looking much worse now defensively than they did under Benitez. Benitez got them very, very organised. That was one thing he did do very well. He did a lot more than one thing well, but that was his best thing in my opinion. And also managed to score more goals than Bruce as well. So like it feels like 5 steps backward and none forward.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard. It's a difficult comparison to make because Benitez is a very good manager, in my opinion. It's really dour at the minute at Newcastle. I think part of the problem, they haven't got delusions of grandeur is a little bit harsh because they're a big football club. And I've spoken about Newcastle a few times on here, and I think they're one of the bigger clubs in the league. But not only were they good in years gone by, but they also played attacking football, like under Keegan in particular, all them years ago. And a lot of fans still hark back to them days and remember that. So to watch that to this poles apart. So that doesn't really help Bruce's cause in a way because the expectations are for so much more free-flowing football. Like, I mentioned this on the pod we did in the weekend. Like, if fans are in St. James's now, it would be toxic. Like, Bruce might not even be in a job if fans are there now. But as for the comparison with Benitez, I think that they're actually quite similar in the jobs they've done. I think I've seen something recently, probably.
They're not similar at all.
Well, I thought they were until the recent form might have changed, like in terms of statistically, not in terms of like aesthetically and what have you. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean it's bad at the minute. I do think they're missing Saint-Maximin. He's the one player who can make things happen. Without him, they're pretty toothless, which is proven to be the case, really.
Yeah, and it's Newcastle last night. I mean, they didn't offer much. That's the problem. They're not creating chances either. And against an Arsenal defence, which is has its wobbly moments. Don't get me wrong. And with the players you have got, they've got some decent players who could probably cause us problems. There wasn't anything last night, and only wrong as an Arsenal fan, I thought it was fantastic. But
yeah. The thing is with Newcastle, so with Andy Carroll, if you play Andy Carroll, you've got to play to his strengths, and they didn't even do that, really.
No.
I found it quite strange. Like, if you're going to play him, he's better, in my opinion, still than anyone in the Premier League in the air. But you've got to hit him with that, otherwise there's no point playing him. You know what I mean? It's a strange one, that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd think that Andy Carroll and Callum Wilson would work quite well together. Because big man, not little man, you know what I mean? But like Andy Carroll nod the ball onto him.
Andy Carroll has scored 1 goal in 17 months. He's not the same player. He's not even good in the air anymore. He was a great player, and I really think his move to Liverpool was just really bad timing for him. He got injuries as well.
Yeah, he did.
And as well, like, if you think about it, he signed in the same transfer window as Suarez, and they're obviously going to play to Suarez's strengths. So, and I understand that Suarez is much better, but he's not the same player. He doesn't move normally, he doesn't jump normally, and he's living on some, like, he's like, I say Mesut Ozil was living on 2016. Andy Carroll's living on 2011. So
wow, that's a long time ago.
that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. As for Arsenal, Johnny, put it on your page. It's your 5th clean sheet in a row. Pretty unthinkable given the state of Arsenal's defences earlier in the season.
Absolutely.
But you are there, finally into the top half. You've got a game in hand on most teams around you, to be fair, so you might not stay there for that long. But it is steps in the right direction. I suppose the case for you now is trying to keep that momentum going, because realistically, looking at the form of the teams around you, you're going to need to. So I don't actually remember what your next fixtures are. I haven't got them up in front of me. But I imagine, given that you've had quite a comfortable run in so far, like, there's going to be some tougher ones coming up. Yeah, Man United is the next game in the Premier League, 2 Saturdays time. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no. First time to get 5 clean sheets in 11 years, which is a long time. And a lot of people saying we haven't played any real teams, but you can't beat what's in front of you. To be honest, but the next games are difficult. We've got Southampton away, United at home, then Wolves, Villa, then Leeds. I mean, there are no easy games in the Premier League, but if we can keep this winning mentality up and keep winning games, then I don't think we'll get top 4. I think that's well off. But if we can, hopefully teams around us will start dropping points, and all we can do is keep winning games. Winning games breeds confidence, and I thought second half we played well last night. Aubameyang's miss. I don't know. I'm not sure how he missed it. To be honest, I think my nan would have scored that. To be honest, but a lot of strikers, and that's what good strikers do. They miss a big chance and they come back and they score two. So for me, he's got that confidence back to Aubameyang, and hopefully he can carry on that little form because he's got a few goals recently. But I think we're doing all right. Long way to go. Not where we want to be. We're 10th, which is not where we want to be at all. But it's a start. It's better than we were 6 weeks ago when we were in a relegation battle.
Okay, well, moving on to our next game, moving on to the biggest and best game of the weekend, if the media will have you believe it. It's concerning you guys, Dan. Liverpool and Man United ended in a stellar 0-0 draw. In hindsight, given Liverpool's form and given United's, given that they are top of the table and, the sort of position they found themselves in at points this season, it was sort of like, I suppose it was always going to be a lot tighter there.
Possibly it was a bad game, wasn't it? Yeah.
There's been a lot of poor games between you over the years, haven't there? Like last year, there was a couple good ones, but other than that,
yeah, it's often the case, isn't it, when it gets built up, when any fixture gets built up so dramatically that it fails to deliver. Yeah, it's so difficult for me to say I'd have took a point. I wouldn't have done 2 hours before kick-off, but when I seen the team sheets, I probably would have. Simply because of the central defensive thing. I hate going on about it now. I'm boring myself, but it's a fact of the matter. Like, we got two centre midfielders playing at centre half, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they did well. They played well." Which they did. Kept a clean sheet, played really well, the pair of them. But it's not that concerns me. It's what we then miss in the midfield that is the problem. And so many people, I'm talking pundit-wise, aren't picking up on that. They're just saying, Fabinho's been great. He has, but he's also a very good midfielder. Not many people are really latching on to that. I heard Gary Neville talking about it the other day, as if to say, what are Liverpool moaning about? Well, it's the fact they're not playing in midfield is the problem. But yeah, it was poor. We were poor. The front three were really bad. Firmino in particular was really bad. But I just put it down to a dip. I think most teams seem to be going through dips this season. We haven't lost many in ours, which is something. We just need to come out of it really quickly. And hopefully that's this week, but we'll see.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game, was it? I think one thing that did make me laugh a little bit was about Paul Pogba. And, he's had a good couple of weeks and things like that. And, yeah, he played well against Burnley. And then he came up against Liverpool, where, with that midfield that Liverpool had, that's a perfect opportunity for someone like Paul Pogba to really go, Joe, I am the real deal, blah, blah, blah. And I thought he was dreadful.
He was, yeah, you're right. And I even heard Martin Tyler during the game call his goal against Burnley sensational. It took one of the biggest deflections I've ever seen.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Martin Tyler's a different conversation altogether, but what's he talking about? It's almost as if we spoke about this the other week. He's read that it was a decent volley and not bothered to watch it. You know what I mean? Because you
get that a lot of the time with journalists, don't you?
It wasn't sensational. It took a huge deflection and it wouldn't have gone in otherwise. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But, the goal we scored against West Ham a few weeks ago, that was a great volley.
That was.
But the goal against Burnley, it's taken two deflections before it's gone in the net. And
bang average, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, and
it was a chance for United, I felt, at the end. I spoke to a few people after the game and I said, if you've got aspirations of winning this league, because look what City then do. We'll get on to that, obviously, but look what City do an hour later, United come to Liverpool, an empty Anfield. Everyone's going on about the unbeaten home record, but not many of them games when it was empty, you know what I mean? We're 70 games into it pretty much now, and, 60 of them were full. It's a different beast altogether. And yeah, with two centre midfielders playing at the back, and they were pretty toothless themselves. So yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah, what do you make of the early half-time whistle by what was it? Was it Tierney?
Paul Tierney, yeah. Can't really say what I want to say about it on here.
Well, if you want, go ahead. There's technically no ratings. We just don't tend to swear very much.
Yeah, no, it was wrong. Let's just put it politically. It was wrong because there was 5-6 seconds to go, and I think Mika Richards said in the studio Lindelof would have headed it. Not unless he'd have grown an extra 2.5 foot, he wouldn't have done, because he was nowhere near it. And funnily enough, I'm watching the West Ham West Brom game, and West Ham scored over a minute into the added time in the first half. And that's what it's supposed to be like. If there's an attack going or if something happens, you play on. You never blow up early.
No.
And for the first time in the history of football, the ex-referees have actually come out this week and said it was wrong. So that just shows you.
Yeah, I mean, Tierney's left himself in a bit of an awkward situation, isn't he, with that, because he's blown early. And if Liverpool, say if Man United would have nicked that game 1-0 and it'd have been over the 90th minute or, in extra time or something.
Could you imagine? I could see it coming. I mean, the way we're playing, Mane definitely wouldn't have scored. So it might not matter, but even so, it wasn't a great look, was it?
No, definitely not. I mean, if it happened to Arsenal, I'd have been fuming, to be fair. But,
yeah, I mean, in terms of defenders, Dan, I mean, you talked about transfers last week. You mentioned Ben White, you mentioned Socrates, I think, of Arsenal, which is, things getting desperate when people like that are getting brought up.
Isn't it?
Yeah, no offense, Johnny, but
oh, none taken.
But yeah, I mean, has there been any more news on that front? Because I haven't seen anything.
Only Militao from Real Madrid, because he's available on loan. I think the big ones, the likes of Ben White and Upamecano from Leipzig, they're potentially more for the summer than now. I don't think we sign anyone in terms of permanent this month, because chances are it is only a short-term solution, because you're not going to get the elite player in January more often than not. It doesn't happen. So yeah, someone like a Militao from Real Madrid who is available on loan. The only thing is he probably wouldn't be allowed to play in the Champions League because Real Madrid would probably not let him. But it needs to happen still, in my opinion. We can't. The two young lads, Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, clearly Klopp doesn't trust them because he hasn't played them in the last two games. Like, there's no clearer definition than not having faith in two players than having to play two centre midfielders there instead. So how we can go forward without signing the centre half is beyond me. And the only thing I will say is I think they're expecting Van Dijk back sooner than first predicted, because you guys might not see him, but he's been out in Dubai playing football essentially and doing keepy uppies and what have you with Dejan Lovren. So I do think we're expecting him back maybe March as opposed to May, which might be changing the decision a little bit. But having said that, yeah, I hope to God we sign one.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew, I suppose the one question left is, I mean, we've talked about Liverpool all this time. I suppose they're still top of the table as things stand. Can they win the whole thing? Because they've kept it up so far.
I still think probably Man City are just a little bit ahead of them. Gary Neville did some quite interesting analysis before the game yesterday, where they've noticed that basically whoever plays on the right side of their front three there's not much output coming from them. And it's probably something that they think, because actually defensively they have improved. I can't see them winning the title still. I still think Fred McTominay in that centre is still not the title-winning midfield. But this year is like, it's going to only need like 80, 85 points probably to win the league. So they'll definitely be close. But I think Man City are on such a roll, and as long as Kevin De Bruyne stays fit, I think probably they will go to the title.
Yeah, okay. So, well, speaking of City, that's a good segue on to the next game. 4-0 against my Crystal Palace. Can't say I was particularly surprised, but I want to start with City because it links into the conversation we've had. We'll get on to Palace a little bit later. But like you said, they're on a real roll right now. They're on a. I think it's something like 5 or 6 wins in a row. They win their game in hand against Villa, I believe. It's either tonight or tomorrow or the night after. And they go top of the table. So, I mean, they had a rocky start, and a lot of people, myself included, really sort of wrote about the title quite early. But they've come back, and in my opinion, they're favourites for it now.
Yeah, I think they've got a really good chance. Like I said, I think I said in the last, he's learned pragmatism, Guardiola, and he's learned the importance of the defence improving. I think he's fallen upon kind of Ruben Diaz and Stones, but obviously they cost 50 million each, isn't it? So it should be
not
good.
Bad to fall upon, are they now?
Yeah, I mean, Van Dijk is still the most expensive defender in the world. But yeah, anyway.
Harry Maguire.
Oh yeah, Harry Maguire, you're right. So yeah, I think for me, he has learned. They're still not as good going forward. I know they tore you to pieces, but they may have a better chance in the Champions League this year because I think their problem was defensively, and now if they've sorted that out, they might have a better chance. But Pep does weird things in Champions League quarterfinals, like the Lyon last year. So you never know what will happen.
He bottles it a bit, doesn't he? Previously, Pep in the Champions League. He tends to get too scared about the opposition.
You're like me in Brighton. You can't wait to slip that one in there when you get the chance.
Well, he does, doesn't he? He tends to forget that they're from Ligue 1 in France and they're not Premier League and they're not very good. Like, he does it all the time. I'll just say, this is going to sound really, really bitter, but City should win this league with Liverpool having the problems we've got. Like, if you look at the past 2 seasons, if you said one of them 2 teams are going to suffer 2 major injuries, then you say, oh, the other one's going to win it. Like, they've been that far ahead, Liverpool and City, that they're the only 2 teams that look like winning this Premier League. So if you take Van Dijk and Joe Gomez out of us, automatically City should cruise it. They're so much better than United. They're so much better than United. It's, in my opinion, it's theirs to lose in many ways. I can't see anyone in the current form, anyone current stopping them. Like,
yeah, I totally agree. I think with injuries as well, Dan, I think you're spot on. I think like last season, I think with Liverpool winning the league by so far, I think if Laporte would have been in the City squad, I think you still run a league by a distance, but I don't think it would have
been closer though. Yeah, I agree with that.
And same as Man City, I think they should look at Liverpool without Van Dijk and without Gomez, thinking we've got a great chance here to win the league and win it by quite a stretch as well.
It could almost be, and I had this thought when City was struggling early on. I thought if City don't win this league with Van Dijk and Gomez injured for us, that is question last time of Guardiola, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because they'd spent X amount of money again in the summer for us to lose 2 players of that importance, and had they not have won it, it looks like they might well do it now, so it won't matter. But they should win it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think questions will be asked of Guardiola, because when you're missing the 2 massive key defenders, there's no excuses really for Man City not to win it with the players they've got, and Kevin De Bruyne as well. I mean, he was sensational again the other night. I mean, that ball for the first goal for John's outside the right foot. It's just, well, I mean, I love watching him play, Kevin De Bruyne. He's for me, he's just phenomenal. Love watching him play.
Yeah, I mean, you say that question to be asked of Guardiola, maybe from the media, but like he signed a new contract fairly recently, so I doubt it'll affect his job particularly.
Well, I think too, we'll see when with the Champions League, because if City don't win the Champions League, if they don't get past the quarterfinals, with that squad, something's not right, because you can't not get further than that with that squad. I think he'll go if they don't win the Champions League.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever sack him because he's done so much there. It'll be one of them, won't it? If they say they were to fail to win one of the big 2, they can have the League Cup because they love that. But if say they were to fail to win the Premier League or Champions League, then the questions would be asked, rightly so, from the media. Like you say, it wouldn't be necessarily him getting sacked, but out of his own personal pride and what he knows, he could just walk away from that.
Yeah. Well, as for Palace, really not much to say about us. First off, I thought we were very solid. I thought we were unlucky to go behind, to be honest with you. But after that goal, I mean, City's quality shone through. A lot of fans were upset because it was so lackluster. I don't blame them, but at the same time, it is Manchester City and we're without our best player, so there's not. Also, like 3 days after playing Arsenal as well, but not the biggest squad, so there's and not the best squad either. So there's a lot to say there. But there has been more positive news tonight that's just come out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah, Jean-Philippe Mateta, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, from Mainz in Germany. I mean, also that news broke really fast. Normally we take ages with our transfers. Eze dragged on for like 3 months. But this one, like, we got the news. I think the report only leaked yesterday, and then within a matter of hours we've agreed a loan fee, and then all of a sudden he's flying out and his medical's tomorrow, and Fabrizio Morano seems to reckon it'll be done by tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, he didn't have the best before now. He didn't have the best scoring record, but so far he's got, I think it's like 1 goal in 2 games in the league. Mainz fans, from what I've seen, are a bit split because he's been so inconsistent until now. I'll be honest, I don't think he'll do much in the first few months of his loan because Roy Hodgson doesn't really like do strikers. They don't really get along. Roy and goals don't really get along either, to be honest with you. But the crucial thing is it's an 18-month loan with the I think pretty sure it's an obligation to buy. So there'll be time for it's his obligation after he's played a certain number of games. I think it's 15 games. So it's very clearly it's almost certain that there'll be a new manager in place by the time he's able to complete most of his games. So hopefully they can get more out of him. I like the whole structure of this deal. I like the fact that we've started it cheap and then paid essentially we're paying 15 million euros or whatever it is over like 2 years, which is very smart business. For a striker in this climate, is a very good deal. And like I said, breaking fast, doing the deal quickly and covertly as well. He's a youngster, he's 23, 24, I think, which is much better than a lot of the players we have right now. So yeah, there's jury still out on whether or not he actually delivers. There are a lot of question marks, but for the time being, it's a good deal on paper, I think.
I must admit, I've not heard of him. I must admit, Jean-Philippe Mateta, not heard of him. But if he's got, hopefully he hits the ground running. He can't do any worse than Benteke, can he? Really? So, or you'll probably buy him and then he won't score any goals, and you'll go to Turkey like Sorloth and then score loads of goals, probably.
Thanks for the confidence, Johnny.
It's all right, I couldn't resist.
I think, to be honest, how bad Timo Werner's done has made me a bit wary about being good in the Bundesliga. Joe Linton looked good in the Bundesliga.
Sebastian Haller as well.
I mean, we just released a former Bundesliga star in Max Meyer as well, so that's clearly where we've got the money from, like saving his wages. But
like Luka Jovic has flopped for the whole season at Real Madrid.
He's gone back, hasn't he?
Scores on his first game straight away, which just makes me wonder about the Bundesliga sometimes.
Is there anyone from Germany that has done well? Now I'm thinking about it. In like the past 5 years.
That's difficult. That. How long's
exactly.
How long's De Bruyne been at City for? You've been there 5 years, 6 years?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, De Bruyne was from City. Good point. Not from Germany, excuse me.
From Wolfsburg, wasn't he? But he was Chelsea before that.
Yeah.
Naby Keita as well, you could say, maybe. 50.
Well, Keita's a bit hit and miss, isn't he?
He's made out of crisps, that's his problem.
What flavour is he? I'm intrigued now. What flavour?
Oh, God.
Is he like a what's it?
Whatever's most injury prone, that's what flavour he is. Good Lord. And I like him. I really like watching him play, but oh dear, you don't watch him play enough, that's the issue.
Yeah. I like him. I think good player, Naby Keita.
Well, I think when you compare him to Batshuayi in particular, who just hasn't delivered, unfortunately. There's talks of maybe.
Yeah, I forgot you had him.
Yeah, right. I mean, we probably talked about us cutting his loan deal short. I don't know if we'll go that far, but we definitely won't be using his option to buy. And then Chelsea will be stuck in the same loop. They certainly have a new
contract, isn't it? Every time he goes on a loan, he signs like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
he's like permanently happy just being associated with Chelsea, not actually playing for them.
Really
problem is, if him and Benteke leave, we're down to him and Ayew as our only strikers, which we just have to bring another one. So I can potentially see Benteke getting a 1-year deal on lower wages. I don't think it would be the worst, because like the thing about Benteke is he does have his uses. He's just not always fit. Like it's hard to say. Like, but if it's down to only 2 strikers between Mateta and Jordan Ayew, I would rather have him than not have him, if that makes sense. Because at least he's an option and a different option.
He got back to somewhere near his best recently, hasn't he? He's been okay.
Yeah, then he got sent off against West Ham and sort of killed his momentum again. Hopefully he can get it back though. But yeah, so apart from that, we'll move on, since there's not really that much else to talk about this week. I thought we'd go back to our game of the week, where we each just pick a game from any league that we found interesting and don't really get a chance to talk about normally. We'll mention it. So we'll start with you, Dan. Have you got any that caught your attention?
Yeah, the early kick-off in Italy on the weekend. Napoli won 6-0 against Fiorentina. It was 6-0, and they were 4-0 up. They were 4-0 up in the first half. And I always remember Fiorentina being like, do you remember Italian football on Channel 4 back in the day? Are you too old, too young for that?
I think I probably am, yeah.
Really?
Well, I might not be, but I don't actually remember that many European shows when I was younger, period. So maybe to me it was on and I didn't watch it, but
you are missing out. But Fiorentina then, they were like the standard, the Gabriel Batistuta and the purple kit. They were like the team, you know.
I do know Fiorentina was a big club, to be fair. I'm not that young, but
so Napoli 6-0. And the Serie A is actually really interesting this year as well.
Yeah, I've got the table up. Napoli are third. Obviously, AC and Inter are back at the top.
Well, you say obviously, yeah, but Juventus are miles away, aren't they?
Yeah, Juventus are miles away. There's like the top 4, the top 3rd to 7th and 8th. There's about 4 points between them, between Napoli and Sassuolo, I think that is. Sassuolo, yeah. You can tell how much of an Italian expert I am. But yeah, the league's a lot more open this year.
And simply seeing the Milan teams back at the top is a bit of a revelation.
Yeah. No, I definitely remember them as the dominant forces of Italy at the very least. And then obviously they faded off for a long time and Juventus just sort of walked the league. So it's nice to see, if anything, it's nice to see more competition there.
Yeah, definitely. So that was mine anyway. Napoli 6-0 because you don't get much more convincing.
Yeah. All right then. What about you, Johnny?
I mean, it wasn't the best game, but it's just because I like Leeds, and I do. But it seems like the media and people on BT Sport still love the way they play football, even though they lose most weeks now. Yeah, Leeds Brighton. I mean, it wasn't the best game, but Brighton played well, to be fair, and they deserve that. My mate scored, Neil Mokai, love him, you know. But no, Leeds. I think they're in a bit of trouble, you know. Third defeat in a row. Not scoring goals either, Leeds.
The thing is, I've said that a lot this season, and then they pulled together like a 5-0 or 5-2 or something like that. So I fully expect. I don't know what their next game is.
It's not you, is it?
But I fully expect them to do the same next.
It's Newcastle. They got Newcastle away, so there you go.
Well, no, we stuffed them 4-1, so that's at least one result to be proud of. Yeah, Newcastle away. No, yeah, it actually is next Tuesday. So yeah, one for Andrew to look forward to. But as for Brighton, I mean, obviously it was a big win for them. I think they've got the big one for them is Fulham next. Fulham at home. I think that's 17th against 18th or something like that. So a proper 6-pointer. And the thing about they've got some decent games coming up that they can put some form together. But the thing about Brighton is whenever they have a chance to put some wins together, they don't. Like they'll either lose a really bad game or they'll just get a couple of draws and not be able to, give it a 0-0 or 1-1 or something and not be able to kill the game. So it's a big run coming up for them. And if they can get some results and pull away from that bottom three, then they're in with a chance of staying up. But otherwise, like you look at West Brom, you look at Fulham, you look at Burnley. I know West Brom are losing tonight, but they obviously beat Wolves. I think with Big Sam, they've always got a chance. So there's a chance that they don't want to be too close to that sort of bottom circle. Otherwise, there's a very good chance that a team below them could pull away. Okay, so yeah.
Definitely, I think Wolves are in a little bit of trouble as well. They're not. They're
yeah.
Oh, they are. I mean, if they're on 22 points. I mean, if they wouldn't have beaten, was it Chelsea a couple of weeks ago? If they wouldn't have there and got a draw against Spurs, they'd be right in that mix. They're dropping like a stone. Wolves.
Yeah, they're missing Jimenez a lot, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're a bit like us. They've probably got enough to stay up, and they've certainly got a manager who's good enough. But I don't think they're going to do anything. I think possibly Nuno might be reaching the end of the road at Wolves, because I know he's had a lot of bad luck, but a lot of the fans aren't happy with how he's been managing, and particularly with the money they've spent, expectations are massive up there. They expect sort of top 8 minimum, really, at Wolves, and you can't blame them. So it could be a bit of a recipe for disaster as far as that's concerned. But yeah, as for you, Andrew, what have you gone with?
I've gone for Italian football as well. I sat and watched Inter Juventus, and it's really, Juventus is crazy. I think they've won 7 Serie A's in a row, and they made the decision to let Sarri go and give Andrea Pirlo, who I think managed the under-23s for something like 3 days, and decided to give him the job. And obviously, great player, huge respect for him, a brilliant footballer. But he's just not really working. And, watching Aaron Ramsey play wide in Italy is very interesting, because I personally think Aaron Ramsey was a brilliant player for a few years in England, but the last couple of years he wasn't the same. And he's on close to 400 grand a week, supposedly, because he was a Bosman. And Juventus is a shadow of the team, that got to the 2 Champions League finals and so forth. And I think Pirlo will probably be sacked basically not too long, because they're off the pace. And Ronaldo is still a brilliant footballer, obviously, but he does need help, and they've not really created a system which will help him to score as many, I think. So I can definitely see Inter or AC winning the league this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can sack Pirlo, can you? He's too good
I'd
looking.
agree with that.
It's not Zlatan. You can't sack Zlatan, can you?
No, you definitely can't sack him. I think Pirlo might be a little bit too good looking to be sacked.
He's man.
Zlatan longevity is ridiculous.
He's getting better, isn't he?
He's still scoring, still a huge impact, and I think he's nearly 39 now. And you think, right, the guy's gone to LA Galaxy. Surely he's going to just wind down now. But he's at the top of Serie A.
Just on the topic of getting better with age, has anybody seen Fernando Torres pictures tonight?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
what's happened there? He's an absolute monster. He was like a skinny little Spanish kid, wasn't he? Obviously when he first came over, and now he's huge.
He's a coach now at Atletico Madrid, I think, or something like that. I read that.
Is that what he's doing there?
Yeah. He's Interesting. His career is really interesting because, like, whilst everyone says he flopped at Chelsea, he scored like the key goal against Barcelona and won the Champions League. So
Everyone remembers that. Was it United when he rounded the keeper and missed? Everyone remembers that, don't they? Instead, though.
Yeah, I remember the goal he scored again. I think it was against Newcastle. Sorry, Andrew, on the half volley.
Digging Newcastle tonight, too.
What a goal that was! That was phenomenal. That was.
He was a great player. For us, he was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. He used to rip Nemanja Vidic apart.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not that I wasn't old enough to see Torres, but obviously I was.
Here we go again.
It was more like
It
was more like I was watching the Premier League at the time, because we were in the Championship at the time.
We should play a new game. Was George old enough?
Yeah.
I'm actually 3 years old.
Before you watched Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, like you did see him play a bit. Come on.
Yeah, I did see him play a bit, but like I didn't have. I mostly remember his Liverpool days was the thing when he was actually a really proper striker. I don't remember his Chelsea days that much, which probably says as much as you need to know. But we'll move on to an area that I actually do know very well, lower league. Because I'm going for my game. I'm going for. It was technically last week, but we didn't have the sort of game week by then. It's still certainly fairly recent. Charlton v Rochdale, 4-4. And the reason I'm picking it is because our old academy boy, Kwadwo Bar, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, lad. But two really great goals, 17 years old, two really great goals. Unfortunately, they couldn't hold out for the win. And I'm just hoping that it's one of those players you don't let go as a youngster and then turns up in the Premier League in a few years' time, playing for Leeds or someone, signed for 30 million. But he's got a really bright future ahead of him. And the thing we remember him for is against West Ham a few years ago. I don't know if any of you probably don't remember because it wasn't really like a feature game, but Adrian was time wasting, fumbling with the ball on the line or whatever, and he just ran onto the field and just put it on the line for him. We lost that match 3-0, but it was quite funny. I don't know if any of you saw that game, but.
I thought you were going to say he was playing then. I was going to say 2 years ago and he's now 17. How young was he?
Yeah. No, he was a ball boy. He was on the sideline.
I got that eventually, I was
He's older than George, put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Comfortably. Everyone is.
Well, I am getting to that age where loads of footballers are younger than me, and it is kind of weird to see because I haven't been used to that for too long.
Welcome to that age.
I'm 30.
Yeah, my dad said the same thing. My dad said wait until you're 40.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a stat somewhere that Rochdale, they're the first football league side in history to have drawn 3 games in a row and scored at least 3 goals in all 3 of them. I forget what the other 2 were, but one of them was 4-4. So 2 of them were another 3-3. 2 of them were 3-3s, and then you had 4-4 with Charlton. So it's a bit of a mad stat. They're fighting relegation at the moment. Like, you just wish they could have had a couple 3-2s or 4-3s.
Yeah, they're playing now. They're 1-0 down. It's not as eventful tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for sure. But yeah, that just leaves the let's all off at. So we'll start with you, Johnny.
I've got a couple. Well, one's not so much funny, but it's a very good stat. It was the fact that Lionel Messi got sent off for the first time in his Barcelona career after 753 games.
Oh, really? His first time? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he slapped someone, and it was quite funny. Like when the player was on the floor, Messi kind of leans over him and like checks his pulse. It's quite funny to watch the video. It's quite funny. But yeah, first red card in 753 games. That's quite an amazing stat. But the one I did find hilarious is Chelsea's longest serving player, Lucas Piazon. He's left Chelsea now after nearly 10 years at the club and played 3 games for Chelsea. He's gone to Braga. Yeah, the longest serving player. He's now left. Such a shame. Great player.
Crazy, isn't it, what they do there? I've never understood it. Just signing so many players in case they get good. It's mad.
It's like Michael Hector. I mean, where's he? Is it QPR? Michael Hector?
He was at Reading, wasn't he, for a while? I haven't been at Reading.
Still on loan from Chelsea. He hasn't. No, I think they've signed him. He hasn't played 1 game, but he's on loan. It's bizarre.
It's like I say, it's just in case these players turn out to be really good, they don't want to miss out.
Yeah.
Madness.
Yeah. It's like Marco. Do you remember Marco van Ginkel?
Yeah.
I actually do remember him, believe it or not. Yeah.
He's been injured for the last 2 years. Yeah. Chelsea obviously give him a new contract anyway and loan him out. It's just incredible. Like, just in case, he turns out to. To be honest, they had De Bruyne, Salah, and Lukaku, and they let them go. So
they're probably scared, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're scared of doing it again.
They're scared of those 3 in particular. Though I was listening that when Andy Cole was at Arsenal,
Mhm.
George Graham said he doesn't see him scoring more than 10 career goals in the Premier League. Doesn't see him, and obviously he scored 180 plus goals. It's like when you do let someone go and they turn out to be like one of the Premier League top goal scorers, it can come back to haunt you.
Yeah,
It's like Serge Gnabry as well, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh,
Serge Gnabry is hilarious.
Yeah, West Brom and Arsenal just sacking him off, and look at him.
the thing is, Serge Gnabry, man. I mean, he wasn't a bad player for Arsenal, to be fair. I think he's a little bit unlucky, but fair play to him. I mean, he's turned into an unbelievable player. But then again, I suppose when you're playing with players like Lewandowski every week, it's hard not to get good, I suppose. He was playing with Marouane Chamakh, so yeah.
Finally, it took long enough to get him in. What happened?
Oh God, Marouane Chamakh. Oh my God.
Do you remember
he was
that
good for us, to be
game
fair.
against
He was
Reading?
good. Yeah.
I remember.
Wasn't the game against Reading where it was 4-0 to Reading or something?
Yeah,
And
for
then-
that game. Yeah, we won
And you guys came back to win 7-4, and he was incredible in that game. He scored like 2 chips or something.
Yeah. That game very well. Yeah. Oh, Marouane Chamakh. I once got an Arsenal shirt with his name on the back of it.
Oh
Don't know.
wow!
Yeah, I know.
Oh wow!
That was back in, I think it was £2 a name or £2 a letter, I think it was, or £1, whatever it was. Cost me a
Good
fortune.
lord!
Oh, I know. I didn't
I've just changed my let's all laugh at.
I'll tell you what, I love Chamakh. He was great at Palace, particularly that first season under Pulis. He didn't score that many goals, but like we sort of used him as like a sort of not quite a number 10, but sort of like a deep sitting striker between him and the striker, and he did really well. So I guess that was his level.
Yeah.
Yeah, he raised Marouane Chamakh, but not Serge Gnabry, Tony Pulis. Yeah, work that one out. Yeah, we'll go to you then next, Andrew.
Mine's Mustafi, because he did this like cryptic Twitter message about how we didn't help Mesut Ozil or something like that.
Yeah.
Mustafi is lucky to have played for Arsenal for so long, so I don't know what he should just feel like he's a competition. I mean, the guy won the World Cup as well. It just beggars my mind that Mustafi's a World Cup winner as well. Just and then the other one, just thinking about shirts, I just remember my brother. He bought a Tottenham shirt. This is ages ago in the 90s with Nick Barmby on, and literally 2 days later, I think Nick Barmby went and joined Everton.
Yeah. so George,
man.
Nick Barmby was a midfielder, right?
Yeah, I know Nick Barmby. Thanks.
Is he still playing? He played till he was like 50, didn't he, Nick Barmby?
Yeah, he
Forever.
crossed the park as well. Liverpool, Everton to Liverpool. Not many have done that.
No, that's very true, actually. Yeah.
He played in England 5, Germany 1. He played on the left from that game.
Did he? Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, surprised none of you telling me Germany is a country in Europe. Used to be split in two a long time back.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I am actually too young for that. I was born after the fall of the wall, but yeah.
You would have been 3 when England beat Germany 5-1.
I would have been, yeah. 3. Yeah, 3. I wouldn't have turned 4 then, yeah. But yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is the best. I'll be honest, that is probably the best day as an England fan, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember that very well. Yeah, I remember that.
I would say that's probably the best game ever, because it was just, even Heskey scored. So,
Very good, yeah. It was all Liverpool players who scored that day.
It was, yeah, Michael Owen hat-trick, Gerrard with the ball. Yeah.
The best day was Iceland, though, in the Euros. That was the one.
Is that another dig at me because of Roy? But
No, not at all. No, that was just more of a dig at England generally. That.
Harry Kane on corners. Yeah, great that.
all right. Well, since you're the
You're
funny
also
man here,
referee, I'm
we'll
going
go
to
for
say
your.
this. Hodgson, when he was England manager, he went through a stage where basically every single time there was an injury, he just would call up a Liverpool reserve player. So John Flanagan got into the squad and Martin Kelly, which is, when you think back now, that's ridiculous. I don't even know what John Flanagan's doing.
I remember when Sterling got in. I think it was Sterling that got injured. And Wilf Zaha's firing on all cylinders, and he called and suppose Mikel Antonio for West Ham, and he calls up Jesse Lingard instead. It's like, and he'd made like 5 appearances for Man United at that point. I mean, if you ever need big club bias, I mean it exists. Like, it totally exists. But anyway, Dan, as you're feeling quite humorous today, you said Johnny is your let's all laugh at. Are you going to stick with that?
Oh, I should do, shouldn't I? Marouane Chamakh.
Oh, dig it out.
In a roundabout way, it is. I'll just touch on something Andrew said. John Flanagan's playing in Belgium at the minute.
Is he?
Yeah, he was at Rangers last year, wasn't he? But he's now in Belgium. But yeah, so mine is Arsenal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. So obviously the Ozil thing's materialised this week.
Mm-hmm.
And after being a pantomime villain for a long time, like Arsenal fans kind of got a bit fed up with him and wanted him to leave the club and what have you. Now he has actually gone.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
It's a bit of a loving again.
Oh, get me. Oh,
I find it quite strange. Like I seen someone the other day saying, "Does he deserve a statue?" And I thought he hasn't played.
There's your let's all laugh at.
But he hasn't played for about a year, has he? It's just
He's
changed.
not even as good as Santi Cazorla. Santi Cazorla was a much better player for
He was a
Arsenal.
great player, wasn't he? Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He let himself down though when he did his unveiling on the pitch. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was bad. But no, the Ozil thing, like I say, for 6 months now, Arsenal fans have been fuming at him, saying get him out of the club, etc. And now he's gone. It's like, oh, how great was he? What? Which is it?
I know exactly what you mean, Dan. It's some of the comments on Facebook on the Arsenal official page it's awful. You're like, oh, shut up, honestly.
Yeah, and the harping back to when he was good for you, obviously, like his assists, and I seen someone call him the assist king, and I think, is this the same fella who hasn't played for 8 months or whatever it is? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And Wenger, I mean, on his day, yeah, he was unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, because I'm in a few Arsenal groups on Facebook, and you know, last week they were all slagging him off, get him out of the club. He's awful. That's rubbish. He's leaving. Oh, I'll tell you, I've always loved Ozil. Like, no, you did last week. No, you didn't.
I'm glad you've confirmed what I believe to be happening. It just seems like a really strange shift in attitude towards him now he's gone.
Yeah, it's a strange. Well, it's Arsenal Football Club. Some of our fans are very strange. Yeah, it's they're very strange. That's lot, I must admit. But yeah, some of the comments is like, you know, I think someone compared him to Dennis Bergkamp, and I can't even comment because that was like, you can't.
Well, you can comment. You could quite easily comment.
I could.
You can't, right, with Mesut Ozil as well. Like, he has such a good press relations machine. Like, I read the story today that he's taken a £270,000 pay cut to play for Fenerbahce. I'm like, yeah, that's because he's been overpaid for years.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sure he'll survive on 80 grand a week. Let's be honest.
Sure he might do. Yeah. Yeah. Some Arsenal fan compared him to Dennis Bergkamp, and I did comment, but I had to delete it a couple of times. I was thinking I can't be abusive, but you're an idiot. You can't compare Bergkamp to Ozil. That's just, well, it's just can't do it. Sorry.
Just simply because of what's happened, simply because of how it's planned out. Like, he was a great player.
He was.
There's no doubt about it. But the last, I don't even know the timescale. Like I say, it's just become a complete mess. I just found it really bizarre how everyone hated him, and then as soon as it looked like he was going and now gone, everyone loves him again. It's so strange.
Oh yeah, but football fans are very fickle, especially Arsenal fans. Yeah, we love hating a player, and then we love them again. It's kind of, we have a love-hate relationship with some of our players. It's very bizarre. I'm glad to see Ozil go. Don't get me wrong. I will never forget how buzzing I was when we first signed him in 2013. I think it was something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was. I was absolutely buzzing that night, and you know, he gave me some great memories, Ozil, and it's sad to see it come to an end this way, but it's worked out for everyone. I think he's playing football again. We've got some money for him. Well, not really money for him, do you know what I mean? But we're kind of off the wage bill, I suppose. But yeah, good luck to him.
Yeah, wow. The saga's finally come to an end, it looks like.
What are we going to talk about on the podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the last one?
We could do like a Turkish one. Is Ozil the next Soloth or whatever?
Yeah, Ozil watching Fenerbahce. That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, I'll be signing for Bayern Munich next season. Just imagine. But yeah, we'll get on to mine. My let's all laugh at. Mine is a very different one. We were talking about foreign football Twitter accounts a couple of weeks ago, and we've got there's been a very special one over today. I've gone for Paphos in Cyprus. Now there's been a lot of they've basically taken over Palace Twitter as of today. And this is basically stemming about because Jason Puncheon signed for them, obviously, who's obviously a Palace legend. They also had both Bakary Sacco and Joe Ledley there at one point, but they've since left. I think Joe Ledley plays for Charlton now, actually, which, I mean, talk about a fall from grace. But they've just been they've been getting obviously Palace fans have been in their mentions about because they were giving away a signed puncheon shirt, and obviously Palace fans flooded their mentions, and now they've just been talking like they've just been interacting with all the fans, like loads of great banter. They've even tried to organise like a pre-season friendly with the official club, like the actual admin is, which I hope does happen because I'm Cypriot myself. I've got family out there, so I'll be able to go out and see. Well, assuming we're actually able to go anywhere in the summer, which is a big if, to be fair. If we are able to, then I would definitely want to go because it's one that I could do. They even posted like a thread of all their players, like for Palace fans to catch up on, and they've followed a bunch of us, including me. So it's officially the first ever football account that's followed me. So there you go, one for the record books. But yeah, I just thought like. It's just weird to see, like, it almost makes you wonder if it's just a Palace fan that's running the account because they seem to know, like, so much about us. But, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that today on Twitter, actually. Probably via you, to be honest.
Yeah, almost certainly.
But yeah, I've seen we had quite a few English players, haven't they? I know. Obviously, Punchin's gone there now, but they've got a kid from Chelsea. And also that Hepburn Murphy, played for Villa.
Yeah, I'm just on their thread now. That's exactly who it is. It's a Villa Academy graduate. Youngest ever player to start a Premier League game. I don't know if he's on loan there. He must be on loan. I don't imagine they'll get rid of him.
Yeah. Are they Cypriot Premier League like?
I'm pretty sure. I haven't actually looked at the thing, but I'm pretty sure they are. Seventh in the Cypriot First Division. Yeah. So they're not the biggest. It's Applewell and Limassol, I think, is the other one who tend to fight for the title.
Yeah.
But yeah. They beat Olympiacos 5-0 a while ago. I forget when that was. I'm not certainly sure what that was for. 7th of the 1st. I'm not sure. I think that was January the 7th and not July the 1st.
Are they in the Greek Cup then maybe or something like that?
Actually, it might. Oh, hang on. It might be Cypriot Olympiacos, and they might be a different team entirely. Yeah, it looks like they're in the same league. This isn't the Greek Giants, unfortunately. I thought there might have been like a Greek Cypriot interlink league.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I really, to be honest, given my heritage, I really should know more about this. It's a shame. That's my target for next episode. My Cypriot league, Greek league research.
A random player who played for like a massive club in Greece was. Do you remember Luke Steele, who played like in the Championship and League One and stuff?
Yeah.
He played for Panathinaikos for 3 years.
Yeah.
He was number one for like a long period. It's crazy.
Didn't Rivaldo play for Olympiacos?
Yeah. I think so, yeah. I think he did. And didn't,
Do you remember the Gerrard game where Gerrard scores that? Obviously, you do remember, Daniel.
Yeah, a bit of a silly question.
George, you want to ask?
I actually do remember that one. Yeah, I was just I just started becoming a Palace fan at that time, and I did see that goal on like the highlights or something.
Rivaldo scores in that game.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, I'm just looking now. He played for Athens as well, Rivaldo.
Yeah, he was a great player. He was a fantastic player.
Yeah, he was very good. Yeah.
Never died.
Yeah.
Aren't they all?
Yeah. You know, Andrew, as well, by the complete change of subject, Stephen Taylor is still playing. He plays out in India now.
Oh, really?
He plays for Odisha. There's a few English players who play in India. You've got Adam Lafondra, he plays out there. Gary Hooper.
Striker at Reading,
yeah. Gary Hooper, he's still playing. You've got Anthony Pilkington, he plays for East Bengal.
Robbie Fowler is manager of them, I think, East Bengal.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's definitely managing out there. Whether that's the club or not is a different story, but...
You are right, he is, indeed.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. His accent will be going down well in India.
Robbie Fowler gets forgotten so much. He was such a great finisher for those first 4 or 5 years. He gets forgotten so much.
Just the finisher who's on the best.
You talk about Owen, Torres, Suarez, everyone talks about those three, but probably Fowler and Spell was probably second to Suarez in that group.
I think they were all better footballers than him, but just as an out-and-out finisher, Fowler, I think, was better than all of them, to be honest.
Mm. He didn't do well for England. That's another reason why he gets forgotten.
Yeah.
And the old line-sniffing thing probably didn't help him.
No. Was that against Arsenal? With the hat-trick he scored in like 4 minutes, he scored a hat-trick or something silly.
Yeah, and he'd been getting a bit of stick, hadn't he, for like his habits, if you like, off the field. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, to bring it to a more lighter note, which one of all the nominations we've had quite a few, which one do you guys want to go for?
I really don't mind. I'm easy.
It's some good ones this week, actually.
Yeah. I know I'm biased, but I quite like the Paphos one simply because it's an official account. And, like, we all know about accounts with personalities, but, like, this, I know they're a small one. They don't have that many followers, but, like, it sort of takes account banter to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I'm happy to go. We've got a foreign theme running, haven't we? So let's go with Paphos.
Yeah,
awesome.
Up the Paphos.
Yeah. Yeah, pay my Cypriot heritage a bit of love, why don't we?
And
Yeah.
you can do some research before next week.
Yeah, that's my goal. I hope you guys have quiz questions prepared for me, like who won the league in like 2012 or something like
The
that.
fall of the Berlin Wall and Greek football.
And also England, Germany v England. What was the other one? Like team of the season 1995 or something like that. I won't get a single one on that list. I can probably guess a few.
We should all do three
Well.
questions, three, and then let's ask George and see if he remembers them. Like does George remember like a new little theme every week?
Yeah.
Rule Fox, do you remember Rule Fox?
I don't remember Will Fox, no.
Good.
What about Sol Campbell?
I do remember Sol Campbell, yeah. If we don't end this episode soon, we're going to be here for like an hour just shooting names back at me.
What about Lombardo? Remember him? That's Leo Lombardo?
I know, obviously I remember Lombardo. Like, I wasn't there to actually watch him play, but I know of him, like, and you guys talk about it all the time, so, yeah.
What about Ravanelli?
No, I know Ravanelli, yeah. Again, most of these by name. I don't actually remember seeing them play, a lot of them, but I do know most of them by name.
I'm trying to think of old Palace, but you must know most old Palace players.
Well, obviously, yeah.
John Solarco.
John Solarco, I know, yeah.
What a shout that is.
Yeah.
John Solarco. Who else did you guys have? I don't know.
I remember Dougie Friedman, but he's still involved, isn't he? So.
He's still at the club, yeah. He's director of football. Yeah, that's
Wasn't it? You had a Finnish player, Aki Rihalati. He was really famous for Palace.
Aki Rihalati, yeah. He was around when I was playing. I remember him for his equaliser against Arsenal, 2004, because I was at that match. I was this back when this was the Invincibles Arsenal. So,
Is that when Andy Johnson used to dive every week?
He wasn't Finnish, that fella. He was only 28.
Yeah. Emmy, wasn't it? I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah. All right. Well, before this drags on any longer, I do want to do a segment on this, like sort of weekly, like because I do like a sort of a retro / educating George sort of segment.
I think
but for the time being,
half an hour though, yeah.
Half an hour, yeah. It's dragging on a bit, but we will call it time there. So thanks for listening to this episode. Be sure to drop us a like and a follow, whatever platform you're on. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify at Let's All Laugh at Football Podcast, as well as Twitter at LALA_podcast. Be sure to check out Dan's work on Last Word on Sport and Real Liverpool. Be sure to check out Life's a Pitch. Be sure to check out Andrew's channel. Check out all of our social media. Links in the description as always. Thanks to Dan, Johnny, and Andrew for joining me. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.